Hello, this is the first video, and the first video topic is that Lucifer was the covering to the glory of God while he was in heaven. Now, I'm going to reference several verses from the Old Testament, a couple from Exodus, a couple from Ezekiel, and a few from Isaiah. The first couple of verses that we're going to take a look at are specific instructions that were given by God to Moses, then from Moses to the children of Israel in relation to the construction of the tabernacle. Now, the first verse I want to draw your attention to is Exodus chapter 25, verse 20. This particular verse is talking about the mercy seat, that the mercy seat was to be made of pure gold. It was to be hammered into fashion, and there were to be two cherubim, one on either side of the mercy seat. The other details that the Bible gives about this particular piece is the fact that the wings of the cherubim were to be outstretched one towards another, as if to serve as a covering to the mercy seat itself. Now, another item among many that was to be created for the tabernacle is found in Exodus chapter 26, verse 31, and that was the veil. And the veil was to have a design on it, and that certain design that God asked for was cherubim. So there were to be cherubim on the veil, and cherubim covered the mercy seat. Now, what's particularly interesting about these items is the fact that not only was the veil to serve as a divider and divide the most holy things of God from the rest of the tabernacle, but the mercy seat itself, that had its own covering, was to sit on top of the Ark of the Covenant. Now, the Ark of the Covenant, if you just do a little bit of studying on your own, you can find all of this in the Bible. The Ark of the Covenant was a place in which God chose his glory, his works of glory, and his presence to dwell in the earth. Now, it wasn't until the first tabernacle was built that the Ark of the Covenant had a place to stay, a place to be established. And what's important to know also is that the Ark of the Covenant had a lid, it had a covering. But as a secondary covering, the mercy seat was to go on top of it. And then as the third covering, or another layer of covering, was the wings, or the wings of the cherubim, to cover the mercy seat. Now, let's go all the way to Isaiah. If you look in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 14, that is specific to the fall of Lucifer from heaven. And in Ezekiel chapter 28, several verses speak to the fall of Lucifer from heaven to the earth. Now, in Isaiah, Lucifer is referred to as the son of the morning, but in Ezekiel, he's referred to as the anointed cherub who covers. Now, that is chapter 28, verse 14 of Ezekiel. Now, anointed means to be chosen, to be appointed. Therefore, Lucifer was appointed to be one of the cherub that covered the mercy seat. And the fact that Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 16 also refers to Lucifer as the covering cherub, and the specific words are, "O covering cherub," which means Lucifer was a covering cherub. He covered something so important, and it was the glory of God. Now, what is worrisome about this information is the fact that even though Lucifer was this close to the glory of God, he served as a covering of the presence of God and the anointing of God and the power of God, that he was thrown from heaven, even though he was that close to the glory of God. So in the next couple of videos, I will explain why it was that Lucifer was thrown from heaven and why it's important as we as Christians understand that, because we can certainly be close to the glory of God and too be cast out. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. And until next time, until the next video is up, see you.